Welcome back to the Fix Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Vantine here with Ted Ings. We're at the Niello Porsche Sacramento store in beautiful Sacramento, California. We're at the Niello company, and we have a special guest with us today, Mike Rich of Revolution Parts. Ted, I'm looking forward to this segment.
Sarah, I never thought e-commerce would be as big as it has grown. Mike, welcome to the Pix Up Frontier.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
We did this a couple of years ago with Tully, and what you're doing at Revolution Parts has really grown and grown and grown. I don't know if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, no, e-commerce is growing and growing and growing. And I think we all should have seen e-commerce coming to grow. I mean, automotive typically is a little bit behind the rest of the world in terms of how we do commerce, but e-commerce has been pretty big for a long time. And what we've seen over the past 3 or 4 years is just year after year growth, double-digit growth. 2 years ago, it was 30%. Last year, it was 15%. This year, we're at about a 10% growth. It's slowed down, but it's still outpacing the overall growth of the market.
So, Sarah, my daughter Jean, whom I know you know, when she was home before she moved out, she would get boxes every day from Amazon on the front doorstep, always ordering things through Amazon. I didn't realize that Amazon can be used for parts and is now a huge part in the retail dealership business.
It's incredible, Ted. And Mike, this has been just an evolution in terms of customer preferences. And a lot of dealers are talking about how their e-commerce platform, can get started, or maybe if they have maybe just some people doing it casually, how they can improve it. So could you talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing in the industry and how dealers are really revolutionizing their e-commerce strategy?
Yeah, great question. You guys brought up a couple points there. Of course, there's eBay and Amazon, which we traditionally refer to as like a 3P. And then if you have your own website where you sell automotive parts, that's a 1P. And what Revolution Parts tries to do is really simplify that and bring it all together so you can take your OEM catalog, ingest it, set up pricing rules for your specific channel, shipping rules for those specific channels, and then build an entire kind of parts e-commerce empire at the end of the day that's very easy to manage and doesn't require that you log into multiple platforms to run your parts business.
We bet recently some of the award winners, retail dealers from Revolution Parts in e-commerce. It's amazing what some of these dealers are doing and have figured out thanks to Revolution Parts.
Yeah, our dealers, a lot of them are very forward facing. Some of them teach us stuff sometimes too. Lots of times they teach us things. And these dealers work very well together. A lot of them network in e-commerce, which is really exciting. I was talking to someone at your event about how he ordered from a dealer, Corp Automotive was one of our dealers that was on the East Coast, and this gentleman lived in Arizona. And we have this tool we built called drop ship automation, which allows our dealers to connect with each other. So if you order a part from a guy that's in New York, but you're in Arizona, that New York dealer can connect with an Arizona dealer. And if they have that part in stock, they can ship it to the guy in Arizona. What that does for the consumer, it allows them to get their part faster. It's very similar to what like Amazon does or warehouse distributors in the aftermarket space, where they have lots of parts spread across the country and they just kind of hot shot them between locations. But this allows the consumer to get the part faster, then it allows the dealer to make more on shipping because they charge shipping from New York to Arizona when in reality the shipping is from Arizona to Arizona.
Mike, it's incredible to hear these strategies because when we had a recent panel for Revolution Parts, one of the things that was shared was how much business these parts departments are doing outside their market. In some cases, as far away as international. So, how have you seen the shipping component evolve with dealerships using Revolution Parts?
Yeah, so this drop shipping piece I've seen has been a big evolution. We also work with a lot of the OEMs too, not just the dealerships. So I'll give you an example. Like Nissan is one of our OEM partners, and the parts space, there's this thing called a PDC, which is a parts distribution center, and Nissan has parts in all these distribution centers. So sometimes the order will hit the dealership and then go to the distribution center, and the dealership is really just handling the customer service, and the part is actually being shipped at the distribution center. So it really streamlines the operation. It's another way to get the part to the consumer faster so you can better compete with the Amazons and the aftermarket companies of the world and create a better experience to drive more repeat business.
Sarah, can you quote the numbers? The growth in e-commerce parts is huge.
The most recent online parts and sales accessories report from Revolution Parts mentioned almost $26 billion in sales in 2024. And so I one of the things that was so incredible to see was the growth projected to be 35 billion by
Billion.
billion. And Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just specifically in online part sales, right?
That's actually specifically to the 1P sales that I referenced earlier. So that's just sales on websites, basically. If you throw 3P in it, you can almost double that. So 3P would be your Amazon and your eBays. So they have almost the exact same size of parts market, and they're both growing in this path like that.
So let's go back. Revolution Parts helps dealers get into the e-commerce business. You help them set up a platform. You've got some proven methods that work amazingly. You also help consult with those dealers and you get them into the e-commerce business. And you also help with a lot of things like shipping, and you really figured all this out.
Yeah, we help all that stuff and help them run the business. The one piece we don't talk a lot about, and it's one of my biggest teams at Revolution Parts, is we have an internal agency that does marketing for our dealers because anyone can stand up a website and put parts on the web, but unless you're driving traffic there, you're not going to get transactions. So we have an internal marketing agency that has all the EBC strategies to drive part sales to the dealerships.
So you give the dealers this really one-stop solution to help them in all these areas, no matter where they are in that cycle of e-commerce.
That's all it is. It's like a business in a box, so to speak. So if you want to get into e-commerce, you can sign up with Revolution Parts and you can be selling parts tomorrow and just dropping them in boxes and shipping them out. And in some cases, if you're with the specific OEMs and partnerships, you're not even putting them in the box anymore. You're just collecting the paycheck.
You're showing parts a lot of love in our industry.
Thank you.
Mike, and just a final closing thought, how would you suggest if a dealer that's watching today is wanting to get started in parts e-commerce, what should be the first step that they explore?
Yeah, I'd go to the website, revolutionparts.com, and call the phone number on there, fill out a form, talk to one of our specialists. They can provide them a lot of guidance on how to get started. Like I mentioned, many of the OEMs too have programs that help dealers get started. So we work with a lot of these OEMs, and a lot of them also have like kickback programs and matching programs to help kind of ease some of the burden. But it's pretty easy to get started, and you can start as small as you want and then you can scale up and then add staffing as you grow. That's the really great thing about it. It's not a huge investment to get started. You can start small and you can grow. We've seen many dealers start small, grow large, and then add and scale as they grow.
Well, Mike, thank you for the e-news industry, and very grateful to you about all the knowledge that we've learned about e-commerce as well in the last couple of years.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Mike Rich, everybody, he's the vice president of e-commerce for the big name in e-commerce, Revolution Parts. Here with us today at the Niello Company at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, Sarah Van Tine, and I will be right back.